Welcome, 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 humans and gentle humans, to San Francisco's second ever Cliterary Salon. Our final reader tonight is Maggie Tokuda-Hall. It's a real pleasure to Maggie Tokuda-Hall is a 7,000-time shipwreck winner, masked luchador, and a vengeful spirit. When she's not howling out doom from atop a craggy peak, rising lonesome from a dark and storm-tossed sea, she finds time to summit the two most highly esteemed and dignified genres of literature today: children's books and porn. Without further ado, I give you the Optimus Literary Prodigy, Maggie Tokuda-Hall.
I love that intro. It's the most seen I've ever been. Happy Paul Ryan announced his retirement week. I'm going to read you guys a story called Mary in Love. Mary had been at her new job for 2 months when she got her first perk. Other employees she knew got perks like stock options, free massages, and gym membership. This was a startup, after all, and that is the whole point of working for a startup. But as the office assistant, all Mary got was a talking dildo. Ben, her boss and the founder of Talk Toys to Me, a distribution app that handled exclusively voice-responsive talking sex toys, was a young man, younger than Mary even, who was barely 30. He had the questionable social skills Mary had come to expect from programmers, and as such, she was only sort of surprised when he called her into his office and handed her a dildo. The dildo's name was James. Anyway, welcome to the company, Ben said. Have a good time with him. Mary did not think he was as uneasy as he ought to have been, giving a sex toy to a subordinate, but she was also curious. She was unsure if she'd ever had an orgasm before, and James came with glowing customer reviews and an average 4.5-star rating. Now, as she removed James from his packaging, she wondered how Ben had selected this particular model for her. James seemed awfully large, and this particular model was an obnoxious shade of hot pink. Her first and only date with James did not go well. "You like it like that, don't you?" James shouted. "Fuck you harder, don't you?" Mary felt acutely uncomfortable. She poured herself a glass of wine, but it didn't help. Using James felt a little like humping a helicopter. To make things worse, she couldn't figure out how to turn the volume down on him, and so she was sure his stupid, booming voice could be heard through the thin walls. She put James away and wondered, how do you even dispose of a dildo? She couldn't just throw James in her trash. What if one of her neighbors saw? So she put James in her sock drawer and hoped to God Ben wouldn't ask how she liked him. The next day, Mary wanted to tell Beau about her conversation with Ben, but Ashley wouldn't leave him alone. Distantly, Mary could hear Beau saying, "I'm just not sure what you'd like me to do." Which figured, because Ashley was the worst and had no idea what she was doing, a reality which never stopped her from delegating. Ashley was fresh out of college and already ran their social media marketing. She spent most of her time cussing loudly about vendors and fucking around on Facebook, a role in their company which, Mary had to admit, made her deeply envious. "Oh," Ashley whined, "I need this document in legal and in letter." "I am just not sure what you would like me to do," Beau repeated. Mary loved Beau. He was tall, square-shaped, and black. His full name was Beau Laser, and also he was a combination printer and flatbed scanner. Mary had worked with some terrible printers in her long and shitty career of admin jobs, and so she could appreciate a good printer when she met one, and Beau was a good printer. Like the vibrating dildos and sucking rubber orifices they sold, Beau talked and was voice responsive. But unlike the sex toys they sold, his voice had been recorded by Benedict Cumberbatch, making everything he said sound rather alluring. After what seemed like an inordinate amount of time, Ashley went back to her desk with the documents she needed. "Hey, Beau," Mary said. She was relieved to finally have time alone with him, her favorite coworker. "Hello, Mary," Beau said. "Is there something I can help you with today?" "You would not believe Ben," Mary told him. She leaned against his table and let her arm just barely brush against him. He was so warm from Ashley's print job. He totally gave me one of the products. Like, what am I even supposed to say to that? This company specializes in devices for sexual fulfillment. Is that an appropriate gift from your boss? God, no, I should sue for sexual harassment or something. I am sorry that Ben has put you in an awkward position. Would you like to talk about it more? Mary sighed. No, it's okay. Thank you for asking. Bo is very sensitive for a printer. I just wish I had, taken coding classes in college, you know? I do not know, Bo confessed. But I am always here to help you, Mary. Do you need any documents printed or scanned? No, Mary told him. You just relax. She checked his ink and refilled his paper. She stood next to him in companionable silence, the skin on her arm still warm from where they had touched. When Mary's Tinder date had to cancel, Mary took it as a sign that it was time to move her relationship with Bo forward. So she waited for her coworkers to leave, which didn't take long. It was a Friday, and so no one in the office was interested in dwelling. It was perfect, Mary thought. Another sign that she was making the right choice, that escalation was the only way. She was just about to sneak over to Bo's table when Ashley came over and stood by Mary's desk. Or loomed. It was more like looming, Mary thought. Mary thought she'd left. Mary. Her voice was overfamiliar. They were not office friends. Oh my God, I have to tell someone. What? Mary couldn't help it. Her voice came out terse and impatient. But Ashley didn't seem to notice. She leaned over Mary's desk, her eyes wide with excitement that they did not share, and whispered, I totally walked in on Ben today. Like, in the bathroom. Ashley giggled. Her giggle was obnoxious. Ashley was obnoxious, but Mary was curious despite her desperation to go to Bo. She could see just one of his shining black plastic corners beyond Ashley's obnoxiously perfect hair. No, Ashley said, using one of the, the Bella model? Bella was an orifice with a voice recorded by Megan Fox. She was meant, according to the copy on the side of the box, to feel exactly like the warm and tight grip of an anus. Mary blushed. Ashley howled with laughter. In his office, Ashley went on. Can you believe it? Can you fucking believe it? Mary could believe it, even if she didn't dare to care to contemplate it. I mean, how lonely do you have to be? Ashley laughed again and grabbed Mary on the arm, squeezed a little too hard. So disgusting, right? Yeah, Mary said. Anyway, have a good weekend. She winked. Who winks, Mary thought, but before she could respond with something appropriately snonky, Ashley and her perfect hair were gone. Mary sat at her desk, embarrassment growing in her stomach. She imagined Ashley with her obnoxiously perfect hair laughing at her love for Bo, and for some time, the projected shame was so powerful, it was paralyzing. She felt stuck to her swiveling desk chair. But then she thought, fuck Ashley. Who the fuck is Ashley to have any bearing on Mary's life, on Mary's happiness? It's not like Bo was an orifice anyway. Bo was a sensitive, insightful, and efficient printer. With nearly surgical precision, and he was a good listener, goddammit. She stood up fiercely and stomped over to Bo, a flush in her cheeks and a passion burning in her throat. Come on, Bo, Mary said. Oh, hello, Mary, Bo said. Do you need some documents printed or scanned or copied today? No. She reached around and rooted around for his power cord. I need you. She unplugged him before he could respond. If the concierge thought it was strange that Mary checked into the hotel with an industrial printer in tow, he didn't show it. She took Bo to their room, which was well lit and cozy, and plugged him in. Her heart pounded. She'd planned this moment for so long, and now that it was here, she was surprised by how nervous she felt as Bo booted up. Mary? Bo asked. Where are we? A hotel? Do you need any documents? No, Bo, Mary sighed. I'm in love with you. I do not understand what you would like from me, Bo said. Shall I reset? No, this was so much harder than she'd anticipated. I just want to hold you. There are no holds in my queue, Bo said. But is that not what you mean? Like this, Mary said, and she enveloped Bo as best she could in her arms. Bo's cooling fan engaged, its gentle whir soothed her like waves on the shore. Am I to understand, Bo said after some time, that you do not need me to process any documents? You are interested instead in holding your person against me? To love you, Mary clarified. This is very confusing for me. Perhaps you should turn me off, and then on again. That's just how love is, Mary told him. It's confusing. Save for the whirring of his cooling fan, Bo was silent. Was Mary completely insane? Was this a crazy thing to have done? Time felt as though it were stretched infinitely since the last moment she'd spoken, and Mary could feel the shame stacking like bricks in her chest. Her fingers itched to unplug Bo, to quit her job, and hold herself up in her apartment, never to speak to another person, dildo, or printer again. Just as she thought she could bear the silence no longer, the cover for Bo's scanner lifted. Mary, Bo said, please place your face on my scanner. I would like to see what you look like. Mary obliged. The surface of his scanner was pleasantly cool to the touch against her cheek. The light of his scanner swept across her face once, and then once again. You have black hair, Bo said, once the scan was complete. Yes, Mary said. I believe I am constructed of black plastic, Bo said. So the color black is a trait we share. Mary smiled. She hadn't thought of it that way. Will you please place your hand on my scanner? Mary did. Bo scanned her hand and printed out a picture of it. I hope, Bo said, that this experience replicates that of holding hands. Tears filled Mary's eyes. She thought of the last time she'd held hands, a sweaty, unpleasant experience with her high school boyfriend. But this was so much better. They spent the night scanning Mary's hands, her feet, her ears, her hair. Bo printed out pictures of each of her various body parts and stacked them neatly in his cradle. The light of dawn had come and gone, but Mary wasn't tired. Mary, Bo said, after scanning her lips, I would like to try something. Would you please, if you are comfortable, and it would please you, sit on my scanner? I would like to see your reproductive parts. She couldn't help it. She laughed. Reproductive? You have the capacity to reproduce humans, Bo said. I have the capacity to reproduce documents. Please, he said, sit on my scanner. It was, Mary reflected, the most erotic request that had ever been made of her, and it came from a piece of office equipment. But the chicanery usually associated with sex was absent. She did not think of Ben. She did not think of James. She did not think of Ashley and her cruel laughter. All she thought of was Bo as she carefully pulled her pants and underwear down. As the light of Bo's scanner flashed between her legs, Mary's breath caught in her throat. Her legs trembled, and she felt her body involuntarily tense and release, and she moaned. No one in the office ever figured out that Mary was the one who stole Bo Laser, nor did anyone ever assume it was she who left the following review on his product page. This is the finest piece of office equipment I have ever used. He gave me my first orgasm.